Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for being an awesome pledge hammer on Patreon, Adam and the Anthony Bergeron. We've got a new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The rest of Team Hogan is announced for Crown Jewel, and Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura manages to lose twice in one night, but somehow keep his title. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell. Give us a thumbs up and share this video with your friends, and also make sure that YouTube hasn't screwed you over, as they have seemingly been unsubscribing people from certain channels. So give us a subscribe to make sure you stay up to date. And press the I above my head to let me know what you thought of SmackDown, where you can choose from Smacknificent, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle, Smackdowner, and a smack in the face. This is the October 18th, 2019 episode of Friday Night SmackDown. The show kicked off with the previously announced Intercontinental Championship match between Roman Reigns and Shinsuke Nakamura. The side graphic said that Shinsuke can speak both English and Japanese. Stop breaking kayfabe, WWE. He knows speak English, remember? The story of the match that the commentary team put over, aided by Sami Zayn, is that Roman was drafted first and has used that to worm his way into another opportunity, which has upset other people, including King Corbin. Which is fitting since, after a decent match, King Corbin came out of nowhere to hit Roman with his scepter and cause the DQ. Corbin and Shinsuke looked to beat down Roman after the match before Daniel Bryan ran down to make the save, saving Roman, but also receiving a Kinshasa for his troubles thanks to interference from Zayn. This set up Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus King Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura as the main event of the show. And no, not next week's show, this show. So we get 2 Roman Reigns matches in one night. The New Day are backstage next singing a song before their tag partners for the night, Heavy Machinery, come in to build some camaraderie and lift Kofi's spirits after losing the WWE Championship. Kofi said he doesn't need his spirits lifted, he's got the power of positivity. I rolled my eyes when I first heard that, as it really undermines any sort of emotional investment in the character and his title run. But there may have been a subtle moment from Kofi here, as he squeezed the pancakes he was holding into tiny little pieces as he said it. Perhaps harboring a deeper emotional burden that he hasn't just confronted yet. Or he just likes squeezing pancakes, I don't know. Otis came in for some comedy. This was fine. Kayla Braxton was backstage and she asked Corbin if he had anything to say about Roman. He didn't, and then walked off. What was the point of this? But then we got a Shorty Gable versus Curtis Axel match in a quick match, where Gable fired back from an early beatdown and got the submission victory. After the match, Kayla was in the ring where she asked about all the short jokes people had made about Gable, even though she's like a foot smaller than he is, where Gable cut one of the hokiest and clearly scripted promos in recent memory. He spoke about accepting who he was and to never turn away from who you are, and never be afraid to be you, which are all good lessons to learn, but man, it was hard to listen to at points from poor scripting and not great delivery either. Also, he has an Olympic wrestling career. Are you seriously telling me he defines himself by his height and not his Olympic wrestling career? Come on now. He then officially crowned himself Shorty G. It's happened. Chad Gable, Shorty G. I hate everything. Hulk Hogan was on Skype next saying Ali and Shorty G would be on his team for Crown Jewel, and that a new team captain would be revealed by the end of the night, as Seth was taken off the team to focus on Bray Wyatt. The 8-man tag match was next, with Heavy Machinery and New Day versus the Revival and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Tag Team. This was a warm-up match for the largest tag team turmoil match to determine the World Cup for the best tag team in the world. I still can't get over that name. Not much happened in this match of note, but New Day picked up the win with the Midnight Hour on Scott Dawson, who, lest we forget, is one half of the current SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I know, I forgot too. Kayla Braxton is here once again, asking Bryan how being beaten down affects his mindset, to which he essentially said, it doesn't. We get a video package for Ali next, which was fine, before it was time for Miz TV with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Miz throws to a recap of what happened last week with the Bayley buddies and asks why, to which Bayley cuts the classic line of, I don't owe you or anyone anything, but she eventually explains after Miz drops some great lines taunting both she and Banks. Bayley explains that no one was there for her when she needed them, that she gave out high fives and hugs but they were never returned, so now she doesn't care, and then she says, life sucks and then you die. So we've really got emo Bayley, and I think I quite enjoy it. This wasn't the best promo in the world, but Miz prodding at Sasha and Bayley with his lines was very good. This brought out Nikki Cross, who said she was going to win and become the new #1 contender, did a cheap pop for the live crowd for some reason, and said she'll give Bayley a hug after the match. This brought out Dana Brooke, who did a promo, and then this brought out Lacey Evans, and then we went to an ad break, and all the rest of the women in the upcoming six-pack challenge match were already in the ring. Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, and Nikki Cross all fought for the #1 contender's position in this pretty good match. The pace never really slowed too much, and they had some nice spots with everyone laying in their signature moves before Nikki laid out Mandy Rose with a fisherman neckbreaker to pick up the win and become the new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was okay, but I'd rather have someone else feud with Bayley that we haven't seen before. Even someone like Dana Brooke would be a fine first feud for Bayley to get over her new character. Also, where was Alexa Bliss? Aren't her and Nikki Cross a tag team? I mean, they were traded back to SmackDown in the blockbuster trade that happened, so where's she at? We got 2 video packages about Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins and The Fiend, respectively, and then we were reminded that the latter of the two are fighting at Crown Jewel in a Falls Count Anywhere match that can't be stopped for any reason. It's actually insane that they need to put in that stipulation, because you'd think that would be a given, but Hell in a Cell is there to remind us that we can't have anything good anymore. Next, we had Braun Strowman against a local jobber. No, wait. That's former Cruiserweight champion and all-round badass Drew Gulak, who was treated like a local jobber. It's easy to get mixed up, you see. Gulak was back just doing his comedy PowerPoint presentations here and treated like a joke, which is a real shame after his stellar Cruiserweight title run and great matches he had with the likes of Kushida and Lio Rush on NXT. Braun got the win quickly, obviously, with a power slam. Then we got the main event of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin. As Roman was about to make his entrance, we got the announcement via the ring announcer that Roman Reigns is the new captain of Team Hogan at Crown Jewel. This was the formulaic WWE tag team match, with the heels working over the faces until after the ad break when the baby faces make a comeback, though there was a nice spot where Corbin ran around the ring post straight into a Superman punch and a spear through the barricade. This allowed Bryan to lock in the LeBell Lock and make Shinsuke tap for the win. I can't really tell where this is leading. Will Bryan challenge for the Intercontinental Championship? Will Roman feud with King Corbin? Will Roman get a rematch for the IC title? Why are Roman and Bryan still teaming despite Roman and Harper no longer being a threat to them? I can't tell, and I don't think there's any point in speculating because I don't think WWE knows either. This was one of the most mediocre, middle-of-the-road shows in recent memory. Nothing really happened. We got a new #1 contender for Bayley, but it's a match we've seen a fair amount of recently, though with the face and heel dynamic swapped. And aside from that, a whole lot of not much. Nothing was particularly damaging, but nothing progressed either. And with the new era of SmackDown on Fox, that just won't do. SmackDown now may be bright and colorful and new, but it feels lifeless and above all else, boring. The whole show could be summed up with, this SmackDown was a SmackDowner. Is The Fiend heading back to Raw? Click the video to my right to be taken to that video right now, and the video below that to find out about a huge AEW star being injured. A special thank you to our pledge hammers on Patreon, some of whom you can see scrolling below me right now. I've been Chopper Pete Cornell, and that was wrestling.